we always tell you about the guests we have on the show each day. This particular person is someone we've known for a while, and there was a time we met him, I think last week, but things didn't go according to plan. But we have him this morning. Now, guests on Galaxy Television, especially Whatzup, are carefully selected and picked. We have the A-listers who come here and tell us about their lives. And this morning, we want to welcome to the studio Emdee.
Thank you.
Emdee, you're welcome.
Yes, Emdee David still owes me money, and I'll tell you why. Because I've been taking very good pictures of him in the studio, and he has said after the show I should send my invoice.
The ones I've been taking of you, have you given me money?
Yes, I do that every time.
Say lie.
Exactly. So once
No,
you pay her,
Rira.
once
Yes.
you pay her,
Tell him to pay me
she has,
first.
pay you.
she
Tell
has,
him to
she
pay me
has all the
first.
pins to my
Yeah.
ATM
Once you
card.
get her-
So you tell God that you don't have.
Hmm?
You don't have ATM.
I have.
You don't have.
I gave you
You
the
always
pin
do online
5055.
transfer. You say, give me this one now and give me the
This-
phone. Let me try it now.
5055.
And bring it. Let me try
That's the
it.
expired one.
No.
Thank you.
I never do anything that happens to be expired. So yes, please take notes in case someone comes and forges a lie. You know what it is. Now, Emdee David is a writer, journalist, producer, director of radio and TV content. Now, he started as a studio computer engineer and was involved in certain editing suits or maintenance for the likes of Upper Williams, AY Comedian, Bowie, and Bowill Media Entertainment. Of course, while an engineer, he was also a model for some fashion brands. Then he learned and became a video editor, doing so for over 15 years. But his passion is writing and other related craft. He's renowned blogger, Emdee David Blog, and the publisher of Africa Entertainment News and online entertainment magazine. Now he writes both news articles and movie scripts, and has authored a book, Shadows of the Sun, and several articles as a columnist for Charlie Boy magazine, E247, Paparazzi magazine, and so on and so forth. Movie scripts include Ribbon, The Package, Sleeping Dog, and recently Talatu. Now Emdee works for media agencies, companies, and celebs as a media consultant.
Wow.
So he's risen through the ranks, worked in many areas of production, writing, editing, scripting, DOB, production, directing, and all. Now he's also skillful in concept and content development for radio, TV, and digital media. Now this man has done so much. You can check and see by this little but vast resume that he is who he says he is. So welcome to the studio again, Mr. Emdee David.
Thank you. I'm glad you're having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you right here with
Thank
us.
you. Yeah.
Okay, so it's time to drill you a little bit. First of all, after reading your profile, I always like to ask. I always like to hear from the horse's mouth. I want to know how you started yourself, because you're in a better position to explain better. So tell us how it all began and the challenges you faced so far and how you were able to maneuver and overcome them.
Okay. I actually started in at a point where there were so many challenges in the industry, both as a script writer, as a content developer. It was a time where, especially in Nollywood, there were cliques.
Yeah,
And
cliques.
then there were people that were put aside because they are not connected to the producers or the marketers. In fact, it happened mostly with the marketers. So once you are not known or you are not sanctioned by this clique of marketers, because then it was the marketers that were cutting the shots.
Okay.
I mean, when you say,
Yes,
movie market,
I remember.
Alaba, you remember there were some
Yes,
actors that were
yes.
banned.
Yes,
And
that
once
period,
you,
yeah.
once you have lost your friendship with them, they just put you on side. So it was at that time. So and there was no social media then. So now people can write and post, and people know that you're a writer.
Yeah.
Now we just write on a book, read to ourselves until one day somebody will hear you and say, so you wrote this story, yes. So it started at that time. But as a journalist too, it was a transition period when I was entering into, like I said, I started as a computer engineer. So helping people to set up studios, music studios,
Okay.
Editing suites for movie editing. So that's why I started. So And that process, I was able to meet a lot of celebrities and producers, the marketers. Let me not just mention names. But these are the people that I know. As I'm meeting them, I'm curious about what they are doing. They'll just tell me, okay, they want to set up an editing suit. I go to Computer Village, buy all the things, put them up from each pieces. So that was what I was doing. Then
That was what you started with.
That's how I started. So I now picked interest in entertainment.
Oh, okay.
So as I picked interest, I wanted to learn editing myself. Because sometimes the editor will just get stuck and say, they'll say, call the engineer. Okay, they'll call me, I'll come. What problem are you having? He said the system is hanging. What were you doing? So I started learning about Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere, and all the hardwares. Because then without hardwares, you cannot edit. Even for the music, without a sound card, you cannot edit. You cannot do music properly. It's not now that you can even produce music on phone, or produce music on your laptop. So that was the period I came into the industry.
Okay.
And then the challenges were what I've said, and to overcome it is to smile at people. Once you see the marketer coming, this is the EPO. Okay, EP. Greet them very well. I can go and buy color code for you, but that's one thing we used to. The people were using to scam some of those marketers who were not so literate or didn't know much about. Tell them that cameraman will say, there's no color code, we have to go and buy color code. You know that color code in TV now. So and the marketer may not even know what color code. They just thought it's something that is very important to do his production. So once you see them, you say, I can go and buy the color code for you.
Okay.
So they'll give you money, you go and buy color code. Just tell the cameraman, send this thing.
That's it.
Yeah. So you overcome some of these challenges by being friendly, you smile to them, and do a good job.
Yeah.
Because if they don't know you immediately, they will get to know you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So talking about social media now.
Yeah.
To some people, when I ask the question if social media has done more good than bad, some people will say, oh, it has done more bad than good. And to some people, they'll say it has done more good than bad. So now asking you as a media person, what do you think? Do you think social media has done more good this period that we are than bad?
I think it has done more good.
Okay. Can you give instance?
Especially for the Gen Z people you are talking to.
Exactly.
The Gen Z bodies.
It has done more good. There were so many bad things that happened back then. Because there was no social media, they didn't know. You understand? When Abacha died, many people didn't know because Nepal was doing his own, so if TV was not on, it was much more later people were hearing. But now, on the spot, you are hearing what is happening.
Awareness.
Yes. So and it also helps talented people, like I was talking about people, journalists now who are writing or writers generally. Then you now have a platform. My very first book, I took it to different places. The manuscript, the hard copy. And see the book I've written. What can you do about it? It will take years for people to go through it before at the end. After like 5 years, they'll tell you they're not interested. So now the only people who have read that manuscript were people in publishing houses or people in newspaper houses. So but now you can keep posting your poems, post your writings, and then people are seeing it. And one day someone will say, I need this kind of writing. So it's part of the advantages of the social media.
Okay.
The only setback there is fake news, which is gradually being taken care of because there are regulations to take care of some of these things. Another setback is the cyberbullying. But when you look at it overall, it has done much good. In fact, what we should be worried about now is the AI. It's going to do more bad. Is that correct? Yeah, it's going to
do more bad, right?
Yeah, it's going to do more bad than whatever you think social media has done. If care is not taken. So, tech companies, website developers are really working on how to, in fact, countries, governments are working on how to regulate, control AI. Because I can sit down here now and say, I want to write a script on Zumarok. It gives you everything. AI goes to every search machine, look for everything, gives you a complete script. That is one thing. So if we writers are not upgrading ourselves, one day we will lose our jobs. Then the worst part of this, you can do a video, or you can generate a video or a picture or a convincing story of the Pope maybe hugging a reverend sister, or a Pope smoking in the midst of harlots. That's what people can do with AI. You can put Barack Obama inside Sambisa forest. Now it has its own advantages because you can do CGI to do a lot of things, but there are aspects of AI that, if not controlled, it's going to cause a lot of problems. You will have to do a lot of forensic things to find out facts, and for we journalists, it's a major issue. Somebody can cook up a video now, see this thing is happening right now, and you rush it there, nothing is happening. It was generated on computer. So these are some of the challenges. So for social media, it's very, very good. We need to regulate it. And I think these Twitter children are already realizing.
Thank you. That's the disadvantage now.
That's the disadvantage because you see these children, of course, data is cheap and data is life. So everybody's always having data. And then when you go on Twitter, you just hear this news. The first thing that comes to your mind is just to insult that person. I'm sure Tinubu had it hard this period.
Yeah.
And other politicians too. Because you just read, okay, Tinubu visited what happened in Owo that time? There was a massacre in Owo, so visited them, gave them 75 million. And I was reading on Twitter one time, and what somebody just commented is, and so 75 million covered this thing. Look at this useless man. And so a lot of those things are happening on Twitter. But with time, you know, though Elon Musk has taken over now, but then when Jack was there, it was like, you can even suspend you, you can even ban you. And then there was the issue of, should we allow freedom of speech or freedom after speech and things like that. But I believe that if we educate people more, enlighten people more on the use of social media, it won't be a bad thing.
Especially that Twitter. They've gone bonkers.
I call them the children of anger.
Yes, because every small thing they will just do space and they will start
talking.
Talking.
I know that space is not really controlled. Because during the campaign, I enter a lot of spaces. I see people talking unregulated and things that you cannot see on TV.
Exactly.
You cannot even see. And people are in the comfort of their homes. Some is just picture, and their picture may not be the real picture. They just put picture of an elephant. They are saying a lot of things. Let's carry our guns. Let's do this. Let's do that. They say, I've just met with this person, and this is what they're saying. So a lot of fake news was going on. A lot of anger was going into Twitter, and it was not properly controlled. So if you don't control yourself, because myself, I start to behave like Gen Z sometimes. You say your father, I say your father. You know? So if you don't really control yourself, you see yourself getting provoked every day.
Time.
So a lot of people say, let me not even enter. In fact, some big men don't go on Twitter. They will definitely tell you, about Sanjay, for instance, I am not on Twitter. If you see any tweet from me on Twitter, it's not me.
It's not,
Yeah. So anyway, they call it X now. So some people avoid Twitter now. But then, initially, it was meant for government officials, top people. If you hear that you have a Twitter account, it was a thing of pride then.
Yeah, to pass useful
information, official, mature information.
Yeah, exactly.
See them
right now.
Then advertising was very, very easy. Then was very, how do I put it, beneficial then. But now, it's X.
It's really X now.
All right, so we've been having very close discussions with Emdee, and he's not only talked about the fact that he's been a very cogent, strict script writer, he's also been in and out of the Nigerian media space, social media space, if you like to call it. Movie Ribbon, tell us about the movie, the scripting, and how did it go? In fact, mention some of the characters we have. I saw someone and I asked you where this woman is or was at the time. Yes.
Okay, that's Christy Okonkwo.
Yeah.
They have Stella Idika there. They have other actors. I think Livinus is also in that movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
It's a story about child molestation. child abuse. The story is that a lady had a child in her father's house, and because she wanted to move on with her life, she left the baby with the mother.
Oh my
For the
God.
parents to be taken care of. So the lady, she went to another place, another country, to hustle, and you know, young girls now, they don't want the baby to be like a leader. So this child is growing. The father remarried, her own mother died, the father remarried, and she was to come back for her brother's wedding at the time. So when she came, the little child she has left, who's a teenager now, was not in the house. She ran away from the house. And they started looking for her. Instead of preparing for wedding, because they were looking for a lot. At the end, they found her in the choir master's house, who is somebody she's flex on. So the choir master was not the real problem. She ran there because she was running from home. She was pregnant. She doesn't know how to tell anybody.
Wow.
And then the wedding was disorganized, but they were still planning it, hoping that they will find her and the whole thing. So because they were not telling people. Imagine a day to the wedding, you start panicking and telling people this wedding will not hold because somebody is missing. The father of the woman who had the child was doing all to make sure that the news was complete. But at the end, we now found out that the actual owner of the pregnancy she is carrying is the groom to be.
Wow.
And then that child, because she left the house because the story then was that she was raped during an armed robbery attack, and that resulted into the pregnancy. So a pregnancy that resulted in the rape, a very little girl herself then, she didn't know what to do. She didn't even know she was pregnant until so they kept it. They were Catholics, no abortion, nothing, so they kept it. And that was how the story went. So at the end of the story, of the movie, we find out that the person that raped her, who is supposed to be an armed robber, is actually her father.
Oh.
So the revelation scattered the whole thing at the end of the whole thing. That's the summary of the whole thing. So it teaches a lot of lessons about who you leave your child with. Sometimes you hear of rape or child molestation. It happens from within. People that visit the house, sometimes uncles, sometimes the person that carried them to school. So those are things. There are a lot there. So, but this is just summary of.
It's a very terrible thing. So parents, you need to watch out for your kids, especially the young ones. Now we have people who just tend to give birth for giving birth's sakes. Don't leave your kids unattended. It's another story for another day. All right, that's not what we're here to talk about. But Reborn is a movie you should go out there and watch. Now, quickly, want to ask you, as a journalist, what would you do if you were assigned to cover a story that you were not really familiar with?
Well, that is actually the challenging part of journalism, because as a journalist, the three things, some things that will set you out is one, apart from your having a good nose for newsworthy stories, things that happen, you have to be able to have a first-hand contact with or whatever is happening. So if you are giving a story that you are not very familiar with, the first thing you do is you research on the topic. You research. These days, Google is very helpful.
Google,
but
Wikipedia.
As a thorough journalist, you have to go beyond Google, because Google is what people put there. If the first person that posts something on Google is that Buhari is dead,
Google has told me before that Akon died.
Exactly. So that's the things you will see. So as a journalist, you have to go beyond Google. So make calls. The good thing about journalists, they have a lot of contacts. Use your resources. Make calls. Things that happen in Warri. Do I know anybody in Warri? I have to call. You understand? Like when I was the one that broke the news for St. Tobi's death.
Oh, okay.
And I was on even T. Joshua that just died. I was the one that broke the news because we had insider, we had contacts, and I remember I was awake till like 3 a.m. in the midnight, trying to confirm, because you have to confirm, you have to verify
before you put it out.
Yes. it's not as if I used to go to synagogue church, no.
Okay.
But a journalist must have resources, contacts, people you can call.
Yeah.
If you see what investigative journalists are doing now, they are not magicians, they are not devils. They have contacts. So if you befriend people, you know people, you go to people, or you just make sure you have contacts. You have a network I can get information from. So once you do your research on the topic, if it is like a humanitarian thing, you do your research on it. And once you have an idea of this thing, because in storytelling, in news, there are things that are very important. What, who, where, you understand? And other things that are involved. So who is involved? Can you get in contact with the person? What really happened? Is it that he stole the money, just like the story of Beta Edu now? Did she steal that money, or she ignorantly put the money in the account so that somebody can easily distribute it? You know, these are facts of a news. So if you are giving an unfamiliar topic, you have to. For journalists, they believe that you know everything or you know a lot. So there should not be a topic you should not know.
Yes.
So if you don't know, it's better you don't talk about it or don't write about it.
Exactly.
And especially if you are a broadcast journalist that you people are, if the topic is so unfamiliar and you don't have time to research, contact, or do anything about it, just leave it. I'm sure your assignment, editor can excuse you. But if you have enough time, then push it, because it could be a challenge. I want to know more about this thing. Just like this climate change. So it's very strange to me before. We're more of, we'll go to show this, we'll go to this and that. But when I had to interview somebody on behalf of a foreign industry about climate change in Nigeria, no, Africa, we're not taking climate change seriously.
Yeah.
For now.
We still don't do that.
Until you see flood in Lekki, you know that, oh. And then you will be calling Yemoja, be calling the devil instead of attributing it to climate change. So when I was going to interview somebody, one Mr. Desmond Majakoduni, I had to really do some research. This was like 2012, no, 2011, and then Miss Earth was being organized then, so they wanted to tie it as part of the team of Miss Earth. This person was handling it then. Was this former Binabo? What was that first name?
Fabricima.
Yes. So we were doing it on her behalf for Miss Earth. So I had to do a lot of research, and then Google was not as popular as.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I have to ask people. I had to go to National Conservation Center, somewhere around Lekki there. I thought it is, why is somebody keeping the tortoise in the compound? There were bushes, there were canals, and then there was ladder to go. So I asked questions, and I tried to understand before I even went to interview him. So when I was talking to him, he was telling me about flood in Japan, he was telling me about earthquake, he was telling me about so many things. All this didn't concern us here. Snow, cover car, it's not our thing here. You understand? So I had to really research and talk to people.
Together and get.
So you should be knowledgeable as a journalist, as a writer, on whatever you are talking about or you are writing about. And especially script writers, you know, we had this problem with Nollywood before. Somebody is writing about the hospital, and you put stethoscope in the air, in the head, and you carry the other thing. You don't even know where to put it. So if you are not versed about health matters, you know, then you believe that the only time the only sign of pregnancy is vomiting.
Yes.
Yeah, so you see a lot of movies when they want to write about pregnancy. That's but there are other things.
Other signs.
Okay. You should know about.
So yes, a journalist is supposed to know something about everything. Yes. Now I'm just going to ask you this personal question. Okay. You have a case you're supposed to talk about, and this is so personal. Let's say your family member, your mom or your dad, and you are that person that has been put in the forefront to get the story. Would you put out the truth or would you hide it? Now, I'm telling you this because it's something that's pertinent. You have I want you to sit back and relax before you answer the question. This is something that has to do with you. Your mom or your dad, for example, is a police officer, and then you've heard that he shot someone, there, that you are that investigative journalist and you've been able to acquire and ascertain the truth. I want to ask you,
Okay.
in your opinion,
If it's my opinion, then I have an escape route.
would you, I'm asking you now, as a journalist, would you give us the truth, or would you try to hide it?
For us as journalists, it's a bit easier. You see, where you have, Charlie, we call it situational ethics. You have the ethics of your profession. When you are in a situation whereby you are divided between doing your work and telling the truth. It's in media school, you must be told that you are responsible to the people.
Yes, first.
Yeah, so whatever truth they need to know is what should be your focus. They know these days we do other kind of journalism. Most people prefer to do PR, image and all those things. But when it comes to journalism, a journalist is somebody who researches for facts, stories, truths. You prepare the story and then you disseminate it. Before you publish such stories, your facts has to be right. Then the way and manner in which you present the facts or the truth also matters. I can write a story about my brother, my mom, my uncle who shot somebody. You understand? Still tell the truth about the person shooting somebody, but diplomatically. So if when you are faced with a lawyer, that's where you have a problem. So it's just like a lawyer who is defending a client, and they say, and he's telling you that yes, I did it, but I have to defend you. Now you have to start looking for technicalities. How did you do it? Is there any way I can cover up for you that it won't so show that you did it? Lawyers will say their own is to defend. So if morality comes in, okay, you know that this person actually shot this guy. So why not just say to the court, they shot him, send him to jail. You will not do that. Okay, so if I have a story like that, I know that my primary responsibility as a journalist is to state the truth, to state the facts. It may not be the truth, but the facts. So I give you the facts of the matter. Okay, this and that. And some of us write with aliases. I can decide that I'm not writing with my byline. I'm not writing with my real name. I'm not writing with my pen name. I'll write it and give it to somebody. I'll write it as anonymous, or write it as, that's the good thing about opinion columns. When somebody is writing his opinion, you can hide under any guise. But if you ask me, yes, I will write and state the facts. I can be diplomatic about it. I can make like soft landing for the person. That may be my personal obligation to the person. But once you look at it, you know that okay, this is the fact about this matter.
All right, Queen.
All right, okay, let me ask one more question before we round up. For a company or a television station that does not have a social media presence,
Okay.
you know, whereby they've tried all their best, trying to post contents and things that, you know,
Okay.
necessary, and still yet they've not gotten to that, peak. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
You don't get impressions, you don't get views. Like people, it's as if people are not even viewing. So what do you think are the causes and solution to it?
Okay. You know, one thing we have to come to realize is that social media it has become a department of media itself. It's a very important aspect of media. Now, some companies think that they have smartphones, they can handle their listing themselves. But at the end, they are not doing it well. So my suggestion is for any company, even in media houses, because the temptation is that television stations or media houses think that they are also media houses now. Maybe I'll just post, the presenter will post, this one will post, and people will get to know it. No, it doesn't give you that presence very well. So you have to outsource it. There are people that are trained. That is their profession, that is their work, to manage social media handles and create that visibility and create talkability and give you the traction that you need. So source for them. I know many media don't want to pay well, but look for good ones, pay them to do the job for you, outsource it. because it's not all about okay, we already know now.
Exactly.
Yeah, look at some brands. As popular as they are, they keep advertising. They keep making their presence known to people.
To more people.
Yeah, so it's a consistent thing. Don't feel because you are 30 years, 40 years in this business, once they mention your name, you're out there. No, you're not out there. Train will pass you. You get it? So it's better to outsource. Get a dedicated person who is trained to manage social media. They know how to create the content. They know what to say. They know how to copy. They know the influencers to use. You understand? Because a lot of people also use influencers. So there are influencers that just say, if they just write "How are you," you see comments under that "How are you." So these are people that are trained to get these people get it done. So my advice would be that outsource it.
Even for media houses.
Even for media houses.
Even for television stations.
For television stations. Even for CNN.
So what if a case whereby they employed some people that claim to know, okay, and still yet that social media presence is not there?
And because you employ somebody that claims to know, not somebody that actually knows.
Okay, how do we know somebody knows? How do we know?
How do you employ a broadcaster? Forget about the fine face.
Okay.
First, I feel like to employ a broadcaster, you have to employ someone who knows what they are doing. Someone went to the media school first of all.
Okay.
Now, this is not easy to get because we have a lot of people parading themselves as one,
Exactly.
but they are not.
Yes.
So it can really cause or create a lacuna, and that's going to be really hard to close. So that's something we are working hard. Yes, at and against or for.
Now.
Wait, first. He just said media school now. Do you have to go to media school before you become a broadcaster?
No, but for you to become a professional broadcaster, you should be trained.
You have to go.
Professional in what way, please? I want to know.
See, we do not have the time.
And for the fact that you've gone to school, university, you passed through the 4 walls of university, right?
Yes.
You served and you've done everything. So must you go to like a broadcasting school again?
See, journalism is a profession.
Yes. So you need
profession is that you need to be trained to practice it.
Yes, that's true.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So it may not be very, very formal, maybe go to NUJ or go to London School of Journalism, but
there's
courses,
MBA, Nigerian Broadcast Academy.
Even if you read anything, my first lesson was sociology before I delved into media. You get
Yeah.
So then before then I even did computer engineering, as I was saying. So you should be trained if you want to get the best out of yourself.
True.
Okay.
Because this is a profession.
I think that's another side entirely, and time is not on our side. But I think we will come back to that one after the show, right?
Yes.
Yes, on social media presence.
On social media, okay.
Yes.
Please give us the social media handles quickly.
At Makezela. For
Makezela.
IG, yes, at Makezela.
What's the spelling?
Makezela.
Oh,
That's
okay.
That's for Instagram.
Okay.
At Makezela. For Twitter is X. Sorry, I'm not getting used to this X thing.
Why? Okay, yes, it's true. Okay,
X is something that you go there, you do so much.
No, he's talking about pronouncing X every time. We always say Twitter.
I'm still so used to Twitter.
Yes.
So for X, is Emdee David at Emdee David.
Okay.
EMDEE David.
I always see it. Just
I always see the
I always say
I think that was the time we actually bombarded social media very well. So, for which one again? Facebook Emdee David.
All right, that much we can take on the show. I'm sure that a lot of you have learned so much today.